Okay, I had a customer, actually several customers ask me what causes your water heater caps to do this. So, they're melted, okay? So, a lot of people complain that we just bought the water heater and it's already melted and they think there's a defect with the water heater. Understandable. But if you have this issue at your house, it is something to be very mindful of. The reason why these melt like that, it's not anything to do with the water heater whatsoever. It is to do with this. Okay? Normally, you won't see this on a gravity vent, or sorry, a power vent water heater or an electric water heater. This is a gravity vent. This has a pipe that goes up and goes out. It's supposed to have a certain amount of slope here to work right. I don't think that these are even. I don't think they should be legal. I think these should be outlawed, to be honest, because this is melted because the flue gas that is supposed to go up and out is coming back down, and it is the reason for melting these. Now, not a big deal. You can just kind of cover them up with something. I see we have some nail guards here that were just kind of sitting there to kind of help, which I would not recommend. So, if you have melted caps, that is a danger. You are in a house that has flue gas that is entering back in your house. If you have your pressures off on your house, okay, a positive pressure means you have pressure in your house and air escapes out. If you have a negative pressure, every little nook and cranny in your house will suck air into your house. Go by a window and you open the window and you got air just blowing in at you like crazy. The other way I was taught in school was the door. If your door slams or if it doesn't shut, there's a couple ways to figure it out. But in this scenario here, we have a wood stove. Anybody that has a wood stove in their home, it's awesome. I have one in my house and I love it to death. But when you have another device that is allowing air, it's pulling a draw or it's not pulling a draw. If your wood stove is hot, it is blowing air out. So it's sucking air from your house out the pipe, okay? Now, if that's the case, you're going to be pulling air back in. So if you have all your windows and doors shut in the winter and your wood stove's blowing, you're going to be trying to, your house will be starving for air. It'll get it from anywhere it can. So if your water heater is heating at the time, it's going to be normally, I've seen a lot of times where it's not really too much of an issue, but in this case, you can tell clearly it is. When the flue gas goes up, it's actually dropping back down. The heat from the gas is melting these, and the gas is coming into your home. So if you have this kind of an issue, you need to revent your water heater, or better yet, get a power vent, which is just basically a blower motor on top here. And when this runs, the blower runs. The blower blows it out, and you have no issues with it. I have seen some of the blowers, actually, I guess one of them in particular. I was working in a basement and I felt funny and it just didn't feel right. So I was looking around and I figured I must have been getting carbon dioxide poisoning. Well, whoever installed the power vent on the water heater, there was a little tiny crack, or a little, not a crack in it, but where it had been fastened down, it wasn't secure, and there was a nice little crack in it, or a gap in it that allowed the gas to come in, and that's a power vent. So when it was blowing, it was actually blowing it, a little bit of it in the house. And another example was on the side, it's a condensate. So when you have heat blowing out and it's cold outside, you're going to have condensation come down. There was a little port on the side of it that had a rubber nipple on it at one time. Well, that rubber nipple disappeared, and there was it's about your pinky size hole that was coming it was wide open, and that is super, super dangerous. People don't really know. They say you can't smell carbon dioxide or gas or anything. I think that's a bunch of bullshit, because you can. Some people can. I know for a fact that I can definitely identify it. So my advice is, if you can, a lot of the power companies will give you an electric water heater for a very, very good price, because you're making them more money, obviously. But um, it's worth it if you have a family and stuff. It's not good to have your family bringing in carbon dioxide. They don't die instantly, but the effects are long term. So if you have any of this issues, or if you ever see that melting on a friend, family, client's house, bring it to someone's attention, because that really, really needs to get taken care of. Because this little melting, it's ugly, but more or less it's dangerous. So be very mindful, especially if you have a wood stove or any kind of device, even a fart fan. Or I know some people smoke cigarettes under their range hood, and that also is going to be pulling air out. You have a fart fan that is left on, stinky bathroom, you're sucking all the air out of the house. So it needs to get replaced somehow, and this is the perfect way for it to happen. So take your time. Don't ignore this.